And then various work that we've done for the power supply, putting the generator in. It is not hooked up yet. It is just set in its place right now. So, but if you would like to go see that big puppy down there, I'd be happy to take you down. Some caulking again on the exterior of the building. More heating system, the pipes, and new stormwater connection to the city of Salem, and then we've replaced the sidewalks that we had to tear up to do that. So that has been completed to date. What we're going to complete before you go into session will include the Welcome Center and the Visitor Center. So the Visitor Services is being moved into a different location, very close to where they are, and we are replacing their kiosk. Their kiosk will now be ADA accessible both for the people who work in the kiosk and volunteer in the kiosk, as well as visitors coming up to the kiosk. Because right now, if you, for example, rolled up there in the wheelchair, the wall height is above you. So we want to make that more accessible to those folks who need that. We will complete the northwest stair tower before session. Originally, we were not supposed to have either of those stair towers done before session. We rearranged our schedule to try to make that happen. We were able to get one of them completed beforehand. The other one, we would still like to, but we are waiting for steel to arrive. As soon as that steel arrives, we will get working on that and try to get that completed as quickly as possible, hopefully before session, but I am making absolutely no promises on that one for the northeast stairwell. In addition, we'll finish some roof repairs. A lot of the outside work is contingent upon the weather. We've been very blessed with the weather that we have right now, so we are going gung-ho on trying to get as much of that done as possible. Finally, we'll be putting in the new cooling towers prior to session. We will complete rooms 343 and 357 and get those turned back over to you. Even though the stairwells will not be completed, we will put the wall in place so that you can have those two rooms back, because I know that you desperately need them to conduct business. And then interior concrete walls at both the vaults, where we'll be putting shotcrete in to finish those off on the interior side. What we will be doing while you are on session. Again, we are trying to limit the amount of noise and what we do to impact your business. So again, trying to rearrange, do as much beforehand. Things that we will be working on, again, finishing off that northeast stair tower. We will be doing some door security upgrades and the custom hardware improvements that we will be doing to make them ADA accessible. So that is probably the one thing that will be that could impact you as you're coming and going. We may be working on some doors. If that becomes too much, we will rearrange our schedule and possibly do that after session. We're going to see how it goes, and then we'll kind of be checking in with you and see whether or not we need to change our plans there. We will be working on the hardscapes at the new east and west entries, as well as completion of the new generator room. So like I said before, we have just placed the generator. We are going to be closing that in, doing some punches into the wall to hook it up to different things within the facility and so forth. And lastly, we'll still be working on the east and west vault. That will continue up through the end of the project. In some form, we will be touching those. And lastly, what we'll work on after session, we will finish up all our hardscapes. We'll do our landscaping, any irrigation that we need to put back in place that we interrupted by digging big holes in the ground. Finishing up our HVAC and electrical equipment. All the ADA entries will then be open by that time. And we will finally be able to restore the walk of flags and remove the roadway that we've got in there. For those of you who like to look at a sketch rather than just a list of what we're doing, this kind of gives you a feel for how the work is laid on top of each other. The funny green color, I don't know what, I guess it's sort of an olive green, that is all of our exterior work, and the blue bars are our building interior. So you can kind of see how everything overlaps together. Now, I will say that a lot of this work had originally been further out in the schedule, but again, we have found ways to crash our schedule and bring some of that in closer, so again, not to impact you during session. Budget. As I said, we are within our budget. Our total budget for this project is approximately $59.9 million. We have spent, as of 8/31, $23.4 million, and we still have on the books to spend $36.4 million, all of that which is already obligated, with a small contingency that we have in case we run into things, and there are lots of things to run into in this building that you don't expect, so we continue to work on that. These are just some slides that I want to run through really quick because I know a lot of you have not been able to be here during all of this work. A lot of the staff have seen this going on, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of talk about some of the things that we're doing here. So the first slide that we have, excuse me, I need to find where I'm at in my, I wasn't using my notes, I was just going off the cuff. Well, we're in the east vault here, and here is where they're getting ready to dig some piles in the left-hand corner. On the right-hand side, you'll see where we're excavating down further into that particular vault. And in the lower right-hand corner, you will see where we are bringing some of the leftover dirt back out of the vault. Here we have in our dome up, you can barely see up there in the very top on the left-hand side, there's a gentleman hanging from the ceiling. And what he is doing there, he is taking himself down further to where he can work on one of the eagles. We nicknamed it the Wounded Eagle. He's no longer wounded. He is now fixed. And when you look up there, he no longer has a big white spot in his wing. And then on the right-hand side, we have another gentleman who is hanging off the rotunda who is working on our caulking and replacing all of the caulking up there. Here we have up in the left-hand corner, some of our gentlemen are looking at, of course, they turned to look at the camera, unfortunately. They're looking at some of the roof plates that we're putting up on the roof to replace those. On the right-hand side, that is a large chunk of debris that we found in one of the vault areas when we were digging it out, so that was a bit of a surprise, and we had to break that into smaller chunks so that we could then remove it. And then on the lower left, one of the phrases that we have coined to give it a more positive spin is whenever someone talks about the different sounds that we're hearing, we call it the sounds of progress rather than the noise that's going on. So we've just kind of inserted this as some of the beauty of progress. We've managed to catch a picture overlooking some of our construction going on up there. Here are some artistic renderings that I hope maybe some of you have spotted around the building. We tried to put them up on some of our temporary walls that we've placed, and there's one right next to the visitors kiosk. This shows some of the work that will be completed by the time we are finished with this. We wanted to make sure that when the public come into the building and they wonder what all these white walls are doing up there and they have questions, that kind of gives them a place to start. So we've just kind of labeled where some of the new ADA entrances and stairwells will be here on the north entrance. The next picture here shows, again, from our east entrance, the ADA entrance that is closer into the building rather than on the north side. Some of the exterior dome repairs that we're doing, and you can see the one arrow pointing from the right-hand side, the underground mechanical vault that is on this side. This picture is from the west entrance, showing you the quad that will go back in, the steps that I believe Representative Barnhart mentioned that some of the students had wanted to come sit on. So those will be put back in place, as well as some new seating area and our entrances in. That is our new underground electrical vault that is on that side. And lastly, we do have brochures that we printed out to hand out to the public so that when they came in and had additional questions that we could hand those out. They are at the information desk. I do have some here if anybody has not seen one yet and would like one. We do have the capability of printing them in several other languages also for people. So that is what I have to share with you today.